The Kaya Girl, Chapter 15. A wise person once told me that looking and seeing were not the same thing. That day, 15 years later, I found out how right she was. I had been critical of other people underestimating Faiza, and yet I myself had looked right through her because I had never in my wildest dreams imagined that she could possibly be a doctor. I should have known better. I put the baby back in the bassinet and fell on Faiza. We shrieked and laughed, and cried and laughed some more. Only a newborn baby could have slept through it. I didn't know where to start. You bad girl. You knew it was me, but you didn't say anything. I accused her. I wanted to see how long it would take you to figure it out, she answered. Do you have any idea how much I've missed you? I asked her. Yes, she said with that calmness that was so characteristic, and that I now could not believe I had failed to recognize. Why? You think I didn't miss you? She asked in a cheeky way. I was glad to hear that. Especially now, I continued. Going through all this, I said, how I wished you were by my side. And then I collected myself with a grin. But now it seems you were, all along. She nodded gleefully. Tell me, when did you realize it was me? I asked. I knew it when you called my name, she said. I felt goose pimples on my arms. I called your name? I asked incredulously. Yes, in the recovery room, after your operation, she said. I was speechless, so she continued. When I first saw your patient folder with Roberta Fosu written on it, I had no idea it was you. Oh yes, I said. No one calls me Roberta. It was just in school, and I guess, in the hospital. And during the operation, I was too busy to look at your face. And in any case, you were not exactly looking your best, she said with a naughty chuckle. But afterwards, when they wheeled you into the recovery room, I came to check on you, whether you were coming out of the anesthesia. You had clearly started to, and you were muttering under your breath, a bit like a sleep talker. I was shocked to hear my name. I took a good look at you, and then I knew. And if I had had any further doubt, one look at this little Lydia here. I laughed. So she had noticed too. Faiza, I said. Every time something important was happening in my life, I thought about you and felt you with me in spirit. Yes, I kind of knew that, she said, when I heard my name come out of your lips. And because I always felt the same way too. Do you know you helped me without even being there? Just thinking of you and your strength and your name. My name? Yes, it means victorious, successful woman, winner. I googled it. Really? She asked, laughing. I knew it meant something like that, but not the details. Well, it does, and I think it's a beautiful name. It is so precious to me. Thank you. Sometimes I used to say it to myself, just to give myself courage. Perhaps that was what I was doing in the recovery room. Maybe, she said, but after I realized it was you, I took your hand and told you that you were going to be okay and that you had a beautiful baby girl. So it was you with me, talking to me. It wasn't a dream, I said. No wonder it felt so real. It was real, said Faiza. I wanted to hug you and shout and scream, but you were post-operative and my patient. There was so much to say, so much more to catch up on. I felt as if we needed years just to tell each other all the other things we needed to tell each other. But there was one thing that needed to be said before another word was spoken. Faiza, I said solemnly, I'm sorry. So sorry. Please forgive me. For what? She asked. For what happened that day, I said. There was silence for a few moments, and then she said, It's okay, Abena. It wasn't your fault. We both know that Gifty cooked up the whole thing. Yes, but I did not stand up for you enough. I never had to fight for anything in my life, like you did, Faiza, and I didn't have your strength. She listened silently, sensing that I needed to get this off my chest finally. I loved you as a friend and even a sister, but because you were Kayo, I could not defend you when you were accused of stealing. I could not stop Auntie from sending you away. Yes, but it was also hard for you because you had broken a rules, said Faiza. Yes, that's what I told myself for a long time, but the truth is that it was just an excuse. What kind of rules were there anyway? Auntie Lydia would never had begged my school friends from a shop, nor would she ever had accused one of them of stealing. And if she had, I would have complained to my parents and made her take it back. But with you, I couldn't do that. I feared what would happen to me if I did. I didn't admit it to myself for years, but I feared humiliation and rejection for standing up for Ikayu. Faiza was nodding. Yes, Abina, I knew you were afraid, she said. But to defend me, you would have had to stand up not only to your aunt, but to a whole mindset, a whole way of thinking, a whole way of life, and you were not equipped to do that. I knew it. It was painful at the time, but there is nothing to forgive because I never held it against you. What matters is that you finally faced up to it. It was such a relief to hear that. I felt lighter. You are so strong, Faiza, I said. She smiled at the familiar phrase, listening expectantly for what would come next. And I am a stronger person for knowing you, I concluded. She nodded approvingly at this amendment. And I for knowing you, she echoed. Do you know, Abina, that you are the best teacher I ever had? I am? I asked. That first science lesson you gave me, its impact on me and what it led to, you have no idea, she said. Tell me, I said. You want to hear my story? She asked. I was propped up comfortably on my pillows, and she was sitting in a chair by my bedside. I nodded,